United States submarine base at Key West, Florida. A dispatch that quoted President Truman's press secretary, Charles Ross, as saying that President Truman has no knowledge of any secret project by this government that would give substance to the existence of such objects. Ross also said that both the Air Force and the Navy deny that such objects exist.
Every time. Also, while it does feel nice to have the balcony door open, I am absolutely concerned and convinced that like a fire truck's gonna go by in the middle of recording or something.
Yeah, I mean, life's a gamble. I ain't got no money, but this is the only thing I can feel alive with.
It's my favorite quote from The Mummy. I don't gamble with my money, only my life. Like that?
You know, and I've missed Brendan Fraser, so anytime a Mummy reference is on. He's in Doom Patrol. He's doing a great job.
He is great, period.
Yeah.
Very excited.
I didn't realize that he had been canceled for something so atrociously not his fault.
I didn't think he was canceled. I thought he left Hollywood because he was like sexually assaulted.
He was, but he got like blacklisted.
Oh, you're talking about like internally Hollywood style. Yeah.
Because he called it out. And
yeah.
He's like, I'm very offended. And then everyone was like, guys can't be sexually assaulted and all that nonsense. And then, then he got a little blacklisted is what I had heard.
That is what happened. Yeah. Which is so heartbreaking.
Yeah. We got to protect little Nas.
I know. Oh, he's doing so fine. He's doing so well. He is so much bigger and better than anything I could even imagine, which is also funny. Hey, what's up? My name's Noelle, and I want to quote tweet verbally from Dunwall on Twitter oh my god. See, I fucking knew it.
Yeah, but you thought a fire truck would go by, not a eunuch. So,
but anyway, satanic panic in the middle of a plague. I love Renaissance fairs. That's my intro.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like that? It's in reference to the outcry of Little Nas X. You tell me your intro. I'm going to close the fucking door.
I can't even think of one. That like took it right out of my head. I am a little boy who used to go to church and was let down horribly, so I twerked on the devil. Chelsea. That one okay?
That one was good.
That's fine.
That was good. So Chelsea just watched the Little Nas X video.
Well, so I heard about it and I just didn't watch it. It just, it was like one of those things where I was like, oh, I'm going to watch it. And then every time I'd go to watch it, something would happen. And then I would just be distracted. But then I saw the Satan shoes because the guy at my work who's really into conspiracy theories came up and whispered to me about it. He's like, did you hear about the Satan shoes? And I went, no. So then I Googled it and he's like, they're made with real blood. And I was like, no, they're not. And then, there's like blood in there. And I'm like, there's got to be Jesus shoes. So I searched those. Mm-hmm. And then I saw a response to the video from like a pastor.
Yeah.
And the response was basically like, Lil Nas used to go to church all the time. And look at him now. Like, what did you do to him? Like, as a shitty Christian to like put him in a position where he feels like he's going to hell for being gay. And I was like, yes, queen, preach. And then the consensus was like, if you teach a religion only based on hate, all people know is fear, and vice versa. If you teach a religion based on nothing but fear, all people know is hate.
Yeah.
Like, tell him. So I watched the video and he looked great.
It was very cute.
It was cute. I liked his boots.
Yeah. I liked the hair as well. The multiple wig changes. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. I will say, if I'm speaking freely, I was a little hurt by this music video because I love Twigs, and this is with a little bit of a copy, a dupe, if you will, of Cellophane, and also like I liked one Cellophane behind the scenes video on TikTok, so now all I get are these. I think they've also been releasing it over the last month, honestly, which also makes it even more sus that the team of people who helped her create Cellophane, which is this, honestly, movie production, camera work that they did.
Yeah.
Like her falling and descending, she's actually like hanging or on the pole, and they've got a dude with a giant camera following her. She'll grab the camera. Like, it's all very real.
Yeah.
And it's a whole entire production team helped her with that idea. And it was very much like her love letter to sex workers. And I think it's one of the most beautiful songs in the whole entire world. She wrote it about our Pats breaking her heart, which is hurtful to me personally. And then it's one of the most beautiful music videos I've ever seen. Twigs is like she is a fucking alien of beauty. She's the most beautiful, perfect woman I've ever seen in my life, period, point blank. And I think that music video just accentuates everything beautiful about her. And when I saw Lil Nas' video, I was like, this is so fun. And then I saw him descend to hell on a stripper pole, first being faced with like a version of himself, which is what happens in the Twigs video as well.
Right.
And then descending. I was like, oh, there's a hello. And so I couldn't even enjoy the like middle finger to evangelical Christians that the Lil Nas video was, because I was hurt because it took away from Cellophane. And then if we even want to talk about that, people were outraged, which is like kind of an interesting lane to be in, right? People were outraged by Lil Nas doing it, but Twigs did it. No one talked about it.
Right.
You know, but you could also say like Lil Nas is more well known than Twigs, which is the other hurtful thing on the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
Because she was never recognized for that video because she doesn't have as much popularity.
Well, she was nominated for like a Grammy or something, and she lost to Old Town Road.
So, you know.
Which is the other, Nas video.
Which is, it just layers of hurt. I did see her posto on Instagram. They did have a conversation and he did admit that he was inspired by it and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, they wanted to like, she was like, I want to take this moment where like spotlight is shined on me for they want us to see us fight. We're good. Love him as an artist. Love what this music video means to him. Love what my music video means to me. Here's how you can support sex workers.
Oh, and she handled it like a fucking saint, man.
Truly.
Calling him personally. And then he handled it great too. He's like, man, like I was so wrapped up in the creativity of this that I didn't realize. And he's like, but like it's happening and I'm not even going to fucking deny it. And even like, and then he like listed the people who worked on her video and everything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I think that's like,
happens.
yeah. And I love them both so much more now, even for like handling that in such a beautiful way. And with that now, after I saw Twigs' post about it on Instagram, I feel better about the music video and was able to kind of like lavish in the drama, because while you got to see like level-headed, what I would call modern day Christians, I was just eating up watching evangelicals,
right,
and also more conservative Christians absolutely lose their shit. And my respect for like Lil Nas went like through the fucking roof, because they're all like, his fan base is children and blah blah blah. And he's like, it's not my fault that, or what did he say? Something like, Old Town Road is about like getting drunk and fucking. It's not my fault that you let your kid listen to it.
Yeah. And was just very much like, I'm not a fucking parent. Raise your own damn kid. And I'm like, yeah, finally. Like,
yeah.
Also, people want to drag people like Nas through the mud for coming out and things like that, and won't celebrate anything about his personality. And they put him in this little box of like, no, you're a children's entertainer. He's like, no, I'm fucking not.
Yeah.
And people do it all the time. Like Miley Cyrus has done it. Britney Spears did it, where they're like, no, you got to stop putting me in this sainthood. So I enjoyed the video. Like, would I personally want to twerk on Satan? I don't think I would, but when I see it happen in a video, well, you know what? I could twerk on anybody and they, turn them on the right path.
Yeah.
My twerking is, you want to go to church, you watch me twerk, motherfucker.
I just like, I also feel personally like people who believe in a literal devil, like, it's a little much for me. You know what I mean? It's like a little much. Like, people watched, and one of his original comments on Twitter, totally paraphrasing off my memory, is like, everyone wanted to condemn me to hell and then I went and enjoyed it and now you're mad.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Whoops,
nice.
Well, it's also like very that, like, oh, gay people go to hell, right? And then he's like, okay. And they're like, like clutches pearls.
Yeah.
That's like very hypocritical to me too in that aspect. That's why like watching the video as someone who was, you know, was raised pretty religious, like you realize that like you're the devil in this scene. You fucking hypocrites. Like
Yeah.
you're looking at yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're the ones
Yeah.
who he was just minding his own business, sitting at a tree,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all came in like a fucking snake
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, tainted and twisted his world.
Yeah.
Like regular people aren't doing that. It's like the fucking evangelicals. So
Yeah.
it hurts to look in the mirror, don't it?
Yeah. No, I agree. And I don't know. I guess like maybe because I am who I am, I looked at that and saw it as almost playful, not offensive. I mean, in my in my head, if I wanted to show that same message, I would have done it. Like I would probably be in jail. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people, I guess what I'm so impressed by, honestly, is how pressed people are about it. And
Right?
it's child's play.
It's like, I would argue that going down to hell and fucking with the devil is the purest form of missionary work.
Right?
That's why he's scared of it. Maybe they're the real devils.
I mean, that's always the case, right?
And that's not really, it's like not, like, you're showing a video of Nas, like, you know, making the devil his bitch. Calm down.
He kills them at the end. Did they not watch the whole thing?
I loved it. I thought that was so cool. Like, I just liked the whole video. And it's like, why are you, like, this is all just imagery. You're just pissed
Yeah.
off at imagery that you don't like.
Yeah,
Like, get a fucking hobby.
I know.
Like, read
Also,
a book.
isn't it just incredible that, like, Lil Nas's video has created more of a stir than, like, any heavy metal or black metal? Like, truly, churches have been burned in the name of, like, black metal, and no one is, like, up in arms about it like they are right now for this brightly colored symphony music video from, like a gay rapper.
It's just like the platform, right? They're like mad at the platform.
I guess that would be the case then, because he's more mainstream.
Because in their righteous minds, they would never in a million years support an artist like that, but they didn't know the artist, so he goes out and does something very on brand, and then they're all surprised because they heard Old Town Road and didn't take 2 seconds to fucking learn about what it's saying.
I guess that makes sense. They
They're
feel
duped.
they feel
Yeah.
they feel like they got a bait and switch.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God. Like, and listen to Mr. Rogers or it's, I don't know. The censorship of music, too, I think is what creates these little fucking hellions who grow up and turn into, like, the world's greatest little Trump brats.
I know.
I'm like,
Well,
give your kid some culture. That's the safest form of culture that you can, like, possibly get inside your home if you're going to shelter your kid. Let them listen to music that's, like, culturally relevant.
Yeah.
Watch music videos, and they'll grow up fine.
I mean,
Let them get a little gay after they watch that music video.
Yeah.
And you can turn them straight with Old Town Road again.
that's what someone commented. Like, this girl was talking on Twitter about how, like, her toddler, I don't know what the age she spoke, but was a child.
Uh-huh.
And was talking about, why are people so mad about this? Because, like, it was literally on the news, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, honey, they think it's going to turn people gay. And then she was like, well, why don't they just watch a different video to turn them straight then?
Yeah.
And it's like, if we're all going by the reasoning that watching Lil Nas X's music video will turn you gay, then we
Yeah.
also should go by the reasoning that you could watch, I don't know, Brad Paisley and go straight. Like,
Yeah, or even more gay because Brad Paisley has the voice of an angel. So,
you know what I mean? Watch a Megan Thee Stallion video. Like, come back around. I don't know.
yeah.
If we're playing by those rules. But I guess for me, it's been really funny because people getting upset about a literal devil is just like, it's like Haxan for me. It's like
Yeah.
black and white propaganda films talking about how, like, the woman who makes lavender tea is also a witch. I just, like, haven't had that version of literal religion in my life in
Yeah.
so long that it's, like, fun, but also terrifying, but fun in
Yeah.
a way, because I'm like, oh my God, how scary is your life that you wake up every day thinking there's a literal monster underneath your bed?
Yeah.
You know? That's exhausting.
I haven't had this much fun since like people were burning Harry Potter books for having like, witchcraft. Like, it's been that long.
I would agree. I would absolutely agree. It's been literally that long since people thought the literal devil was being invited into their home.
And that's like kind of punk rock. Like, if you think if that's like the version of the devil in your mind, like, you got bigger fish to fry, my dude. You got to be sharpening spears. You need to get like a hot shovel so you can dig your ass down there and fight him yourself.
Right? It's just like, I don't know. And I always say, I've said it on here before, I've said it online. If the literal devil existed, I would have sold my soul a while ago. You wouldn't be talking to me right now. I'd be the CEO of Apple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he ain't real because I'm still here. I would have done it no questions asked. But I'm still cooking top ramen every night.
Yeah.
Because he's not. I'm so sorry to break that news to you. He's not. I wish he was. Not only because it would validate your beliefs, but then I would know that I'm taken care of when I go. But he's not.
Well, Nietzsche or whatever is how you say his name. Said that hell is other people.
It is true.
And that's like the devil we know.
It is absolutely true. I completely agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, at the end of the day, what is the theme of every zombie movie? It's not the zombies you fear, it's the other people.
Yeah.
It's the other humans around. So because of that video, I was inspired to get back on my religious information train.
Yep.
I would also say this house has been practicing blasphemy for a while, but I've also invited my dogs in. I went to buy some Christ cookies or Body of Christ crackers, whatever you want to call them, off of Amazon. They are vegan, by the way. And the shit I ordered, because I was going to do black metal makeup and I was going to put one on my tongue placed and like drop my tongue down like demon-like.
Very punk rock.
Very cool. I got them in. They're the size of a hockey puck. They're the size of a hockey puck. I'm not even, I've never.
Are they just like regular
It's just like a
communion wafers?
Yeah, it's a communion wafer. So it's like
yeah,
rice and fucking water.
You got the wrong fucking kind.
Look how big this is. But I give them to the dogs as treats now.
Let me have a bite.
Say nice. Nice, except the body of Christ. There you go. We say that.
It's not the body of Christ until someone blesses it. Anything can be a Christ wafer, even bread.
I blessed
regular
it.
Bread.
I bless it.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, I did.
It could even be an M&M. I don't know. I don't know if the yeast is important or not. Yeastless bread.
I have
plain old white bread off the shelf. Could also be one. But I get you're going for the imagery.
Yeah, and so as you can see, look at that hand for size. It's literally the size of a hockey
you got
puck.
A big ass mouth. You got your lips did. Can they?
No.
It just looks like a piece of paper.
So,
well, Apollo loves them.
Apollo loves the body of Christ. So does Cora. It's really funny though, because when I give it to him, I go like, "The power of Christ compels you," and then Cora goes like,
Yeah, Cora.
she was like, "The sounds." Lay down,
ma'am.
lay down.
I think you got them all hyper.
So yeah, they're like, "Oh my god, the body of Christ." So anyway, this house has been practicing blasphemy for a while, and I just think it's been really fun. I also am of the belief, because like for people who don't know, like my family is Catholic. But none of us are like, both of my parents had horrific experiences from the Catholic Church because they grew up in New York being like Irish, Italian, immigrant
very
Catholics,
serious.
very serious. Both of their parents got divorced. And, yeah. And
Wait, your mom, Amy and Gerg, were married before to other people?
No, not them. Their parents.
Their parents, okay.
So both of my grandparents on both sides divorced when they were like first generation Italian immigrant. So they were kicked out.
Yeah.
They were kicked. Every single kid. They both came from pretty large families, of course, Catholic.
Their babies turned into vampires, and they got to get the fuck out.
It's like 6 to 5, I think. On my mom's side, it was 6, and then my dad's side, it was 5. All of them were kicked out of their Catholic schools. And then my grandma on my mom's side decided to date women, which was
dope.
Even harder for them.
Yeah, no, they really don't like that. They didn't like it at the time.
They've
turned their caps backwards now, so they're more cool these days.
Yeah. I think they do a side. It's not all the way back, it's the side.
No, it's they turned their their like visor upside down, and then they have like the frosted tip. So it's like, oh, that's not cool.
It's
anymore.
yeah, it's problematic.
But
Yeah, but they're
catching up.
I actually don't know what the Catholic Church's stance is currently on same-sex relationships.
I think they're chilling out a little bit.
You would hope. So anyway, when that happened, it was really tough. So my parents raised me without religion for obvious reasons. They had a pretty bad taste in their mouth. I think my dad has always like wanted to believe that there's something better.
Yeah.
And my mom gave up a very long time ago. And then the perfect kind of scientific example of what happens to children when you raise them without religion is both what happened to my sister and I. I went the complete opposite way.
Yep.
I went like, I play with the imagery of Satanism because I believe that it's all bullshit and nothing is real when you die, nothing happens. So if you genuinely think that I believe in Satan, you're wrong, because to believe in Satan, you would have to believe in a God, and I don't. So it's all for fun, right? I just do it for fun. To be a fucking edgelord, it's fun. Also, Satan is like metaphorically the coolest guy. And one of my favorite conspiracy theories is that in the fight of heaven versus hell, we think that God won, but God's actually the bad guy. We should have wanted Satan to win, but instead God won. And that's why we live in the Christian oppression.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know,
I think I have heard that before.
it's one of my favorite, honestly, we probably should do an episode about it because it's one of my favorite conspiracy theories that God is actually the bad guy and he won, and that's why we live on Earth where children die of brain cancer and people get raped and murdered.
Yeah.
And then we all have to be like begging on our hands and knees, crying to the man in the sky to show us grace.
Yes.
Which I think is very fun. But anyway, so that's me. And then my sister, also raised without religion, went the complete opposite
She's
way.
like in a baby cult now.
Yeah, she's in a cult light. She found naturally on her own. Essentially, they don't call themselves evangelical, but they're a mega church and they're like conservative.
Yeah, I think
Like her church is like no to gays.
I fear evangelical Christians more than any like cosplaying Satanists. Because I, on the flippity flip, was raised in a pretty religious household, but it was very much a like it was Presbyterian religion, which the frozen chosen was what we were called. I stopped going to church because of the crisis of faith after everyone in my family started dying for no reason.
That's a fair point.
But also when my pastor left, they went to there's like different types of presbytery, and they went to the one that was very like anti-gay people and stuff. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was in a relationship with a girl at the time. And I was like, I don't want to be
if you need your faith challenged more, have your mom die out of nowhere and then be dating a woman in the church, say, also going to hell.
Fuck you. So then I went to a church where they had drag queens like as like the deacons, so to speak. And I felt like that was more my scene. And it's very like cliche to say it, but my dad has always been like, you're not going to find God in any church. That's like personal. And that's like more how I was raised.
Yeah.
So I'm very much like, I don't know enough of what's out there.
Yeah.
To see a little NOS video and be like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
You know? Or you know, it's just like one of those things.
And also what I would say even to that, because I also here's my thing too. I don't care if you're religious. It does not bother me. When it does bother me is when you try to make it everyone else's problem.
Yeah.
I believe religion should be dealt with the same way you handle nudes being sent to you. If I ask to see your penis and you consentingly want to show me your penis, please show me your penis. If I want to see your titties and you're like, I would love to show you my titties, show me your titties. We're consenting adults showing our genitals. You can't just come up to me in the middle of Smith's Marketplace while I'm picking out lettuce and show me your dick.
Yeah.
You can't even show me your titties.
Use that for a cucumber.
No.
I know what a melon looks like.
Exactly. Now. You know, because like everyone likes titties, but it's 7:30 a.m. You're in line at Starbucks. You're running late to work. You're already pissed that you're paying $6 for a latte. You turn around and someone's got their titties out. No,
I'm not prepared.
I'm not. And that's how I believe religion should be handled as well.
I Yeah, and I think that if you were going to believe in a literal devil, then it's going to take it will take the form of a megachurch. Like I will double down on that if people are like, is the devil real? And I'm like, yes, it's a megachurch. Like,
I agree.
I find those things like literal evil. But I will say, so I used to teach art at this like Bible camp, and it was so fucking fun. It was like one of those fun ones, you know what I mean? But I was in charge of like the preschoolers, and I'm out there watching the preschoolers play, and this lady came up to me, and she was like, "Hi, I don't know you," and I was like, "I've been going here since I was like 3," and she was like, "Oh, when did you accept Christ into your life?" And my butthole puckered with so much energy that a toddler fell and knocked his 2 front teeth out in front of us. And that's how I know God is real, because he got me the fuck out of that conversation by maiming a poor child. He was fine, by the way. It was just baby teeth.
Oh, good.
And his mom was very like, "Whoop, you go boom." When I went in, I'm like, "Look at your bleeding child." And she was like, I told her, I'm like, he tripped in the sand and fell on the sidewalk. And she just went, "Hope you went boom." And he is just bleeding everywhere.
I love that.
It is a good story. But I hate it when people are like,
it's too forceful. It's literally like it's unconsensual.
I would rather get a dick pic.
Honestly, same. At least I can just delete it.
Yeah, at least I can like just, look
the dick
away.
pic doesn't know where I live and come knocking at my door.
The dick pic doesn't like see the wheels turning in my head as I try to digest the inappropriate social aspects of looking at your like weird, unimpressive wiener.
Literally.
Yeah.
I will never forget. I'm going to tell you guys a story real quick that I don't know if I've told before. I'm going to first remember that I'm cool before I say this next thing. If there was ever proof that you needed that like I am my mother's child, the Jehovah's Witnesses came to our door, and I was like in middle school, and we used to have like, the house was a really weird setup. It had like it had a conversation pit. I don't know if you remember like 60s conversation pits.
Yeah.
Like we had the living room, and then we had the conversation pit next to.
You're like living in the Wanda Vision house.
Yeah, literally.
It, like, dips down a stair or two.
It's 2 stairs and it went down.
Yeah.
And then right there was also a giant window, like a 3-pane window. And it was like ground level, that window.
Right.
So you could like see in whatever right by the front door. Okay. Jehovah's Witnesses pull up, and they're walking across the street, and my mom's in there. She had turned the conversation pit into a living room for show. Like no one was allowed to go there. It was like where her fancy furniture was that you could just look at.
Yeah. My grandma had one of those, and she used to rake her carpet so that it was like
perfect.
all perfect in lines. Yeah.
Same thing. And it was like my mom and her cat. Like those were the only 2 people who could actually go in there, and like it was a thing, right? So she's in there fluffing her pillows that no one has ever sat on. And she looks out the window, and I just hear her go like, because I was doing my homework right there in the kitchen, so I was like looking down at her, right?
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh shit," and I go, "What?" And she goes, "Shut up, turn the TV off." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Turn the TV off." And so like, I don't know if anyone knows, my dad has worked in the government doing sketchy jobs for the government, so I was like, the energy felt like we were being attacked.
Yeah, you're like the fucking commies.
Yeah, they're coming for us, right? So I like
doing that like Russian kick up to the door. Like,
yeah, arms folded, like yeah.
Impressive.
And my mom hits the deck. Okay,
Yeah.
She hits the deck. Lysol's thrown to the side. She hits the deck.
Yeah, she's hiding in her pit.
Literally hiding in the pit because there's like that, like maybe 5 inches.
She gave you not enough warning,
right?
So you're just sitting there like what, a deer in the headlights?
Yeah. Well, she tells me to shut up and turn the lights off and turn the TV off, right?
Yeah.
And she's hit the deck. There's about 5 inches from where you could see the top of her head in the window, because remember the conversation pit is a little bit lower,
right?
Okay. She's army crawling. She's army crawling, trying to get out. And so I'm racing. I'm turning the TV off, and then we hear like the ding dong, and I like poke around the corner. And the dogs are all barking, and she's like, shh, 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 shh. And then a knock. And then I'm like, Mom, what's happening?
She's like,
shut the fuck up. And I was terrified, dude. I was terrified. Absolutely mortified. And she's literally army crawling. Okay?
It's funny because like Noelle's mom is like such a blonde hottie. Like she looks like she could be a Real Housewife of Salt Lake. I'm just imagining her army crawling.
Yeah. She's in her Lululemon yoga pants and a sports bra because that's all she wears. She hit the deck, man. She hit the deck and she's crawling. She army crawled up the 2 stairs, okay? Slithered over the door, put her back up against the door and was listening with one ear. And I was like, literally 5 minutes had passed. I'm holding the dogs. Everyone's dead silent. I'm terrified that we're being attacked. And she listens and I go, it's been, I'm assuming 5 minutes. I'm like, are we good? And she goes, shut up. And then no shit, they were still there. They were still fucking there.
They were listening too.
They were, yeah.
Dude, horror movie. They were ear to ear.
Yeah, they were literally just like, yeah. And so we literally are captors in our own house. They eventually leave and she peeks out and sees, right? They were there for probably 10 minutes. It was insane. It was like
got nothing else to do.
It was really like I felt like I was on an episode of 24 and I was like Jack Bauer, man. I was stressed. And then my mom, like, she had like 17 locks on the door too, probably for the Jehovah's Witnesses. She unlocks them all. She just puts her hand out and grabs what she already knows is there, which is like a flyer they've put in the door, grabs it, pulls it, shuts the door. And I was like, what is that? Like, did we just get served? Like, is that a cop?
She's like, worse.
Yeah. And she goes, look at this, and holds it to me. And it's a pamphlet about like
as like clouds and like the sun shining through it.
But that's so this is how Jehovah's Witness fucking pamphlets work though. First page, clouds and Jesus. Have you accepted it? Open it up, hellfire and damnation.
Cool.
Real quick. They scare you, the happy scare. And then on the back, it's like, but you can save yourself now if you join us. And she was just like pissed about it and all this shit, right? So that's how my mom feels about religion. Again, I was raised without it. And I will say, I know how my sister got God. Because, and this is a story I've never told before. Even better. I know how she got God. Because it almost happened to me too. I'm about to tell you guys something, and this needs to be a judgment-free zone.
Space? Okay.
Safe space. I was in middle school, and if anyone listening knows this group, please let me know. I would love to hear about your stories too. Okay,
I'm ready. I'm ready to be safe.
There's a group of, I don't even know what you'd call it,
like a posse,
kind of. Well. You know how they, like, churches that should scare you, especially, get, like, hot, young, cool, hip people.
Like little Hitler youths.
Yeah,
like little Abercrombie youths.
Literally, like...
hot youths.
Yeah, and they play the guitar.
Yeah.
And they all look like they could be in a fucking, you know,
and
Free
like
People magazine.
And stuff. And
yeah, they're all
like open-toed shoes.
Yeah, they're cool. But they're like cool for Jesus.
Yeah, they're honeypots.
They are honeypots. And this group was called Young Life. Okay? Yeah. And they literally would send like their high school representatives. I thought they were high school. Turns out adults, full-grown adults.
Yeah, they don't drink or do any kind of drugs. No. So they were just...
Yeah. 20-year-old youth pastors who play the acoustic guitar and like really like under oath. Show up, okay, with their swooped over hair because this is like the, you know, early 2000s.
Puka shells and things like that. Yeah.
Hang out at like the flagpole in front of a middle school. And they've always got like one guy on the in, right? They've always got like one kid they met at a skate park that they converted and he's their way in.
Yeah.
And then they're literally recruiting like in the playground essentially. And of course, me... being like, I don't know if anyone has seen middle school pictures of me, but I had like pitch black hair with like a strip of pink. And I was both experimenting with my Avril Lavigne phase of wearing like men's ties over wife beaters and also hot pink BB shirts that said BB and like bedazzle.
Oh, you were fine. Yeah, you were finding yourself. You had conflicting views.
I was definitely like, that's why I did the hot pink and the black hair because it was still a moment.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I didn't exactly, and of course the answer would be both. Why choose? But I was very much like, where do I belong in all this?
Yeah.
Very impressionable. Here comes this dude with swooped across hair, wearing guy liner, okay, skinny
Cool as
jeans
hell.
and checkered Vans, playing his acoustic guitar.
He's got me already.
I'm in, dog.
Yeah.
I immediately am like, oh my God, what is this? It is Young Life. It is a Christian organization that targets middle schools and high schools with their hot, cool kids to get you in. And like once a week, we would literally go to like a warehouse and worship Jesus Christ.
But in a fun way.
Yeah. And I'm going to, ready for this?
Yeah.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones, something of where he belong. I am weak, but he is strong. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Do you like that?
No, I don't like it at all.
Why do you think I have like a giant demon in my fucking
that would
apartment?
Turn anyone. That's horrible. That's child abuse. The unbroken stare that you gave me when you sang me that song.
You had to feel my
didn't
pain.
Even recognize you.
I know, it hurt. Okay.
Oh my god.
And you want to know why else they got me? Because they would do like themed nights. They would be like, "This is 80s night. I love cosplay." You know, they'd be like, "Sports night." I'm like, "I'd love to dress up." And then they would take your money and do a summer camp. I went to multiple summer camps where I was a laborer, where I had to do hard labor. Okay.
For Jesus.
Hard labor for Jesus. And then that's when it actually scared me, right? Because I did like a few of the camps, like my friends were doing it. We were all doing it. Everyone was praying. I always felt really uncomfortable by it. They would also come and do Bible study, and they were very interested in talking to me about Bible study because I had no experience with religion. So they were like our perfect subject, you know? Mm-hmm. And it always made me like really uncomfortable. I always felt awkward in it. And then I went to like, it goes by ages too. I went to like the adult version of Young Life camp over summer and experienced, I don't even know what you'd call this, like forced confessional, but in public. At least the Catholics make you go in a little booth with the pastor,
and you by all of
you talk about how you've masturbated and whatever. This was like, there was a giant crucifix.
So they're Catholic.
No, they're Christian.
Okay.
In like a giant auditorium with a spotlight, and they would have you like on your hands and knees begging to be saved.
What the fuck?
And I was like, oop, it's time to go. Also, which was always so funny, everyone was getting hand jobs on the bus to Young Life Church, so I always thought that was fun too.
That's how it is, right? Like it's really, these things are just such an open door to just kids who want to experiment sexually but not feel as guilty about it.
Yeah, you go pray about it. So I did and I have like blocked that out of my memory because
not the song though.
That's the only song. I used to know so many. That's the only one that I remember. It was a lot. I felt
you didn't protect your sister from it. That's the real.
She got it worse though. She got it worse, honestly. But it was like really, I don't know. It was like, so they know how to get you. Yeah. They know how to come and find you when you're most impressionable and most lost.
Well, they're not appealing to the kids whose parents are buying them like the Abercrombie and Fitch clothes, and they're not appealing to the fucking nerd who just like plays D&D on the weekends. They're appealing to the kids who are wearing BB shirts and, ties, who are just looking for something to give them an identity.
Yeah.
And that's fucking weird. I went to space camp and it was fun.
Yeah, we had different experiences. But yeah, so I did dabble in religion a little bit, and honestly, that's when I knew 100% it wasn't for me.
That's not for anyone. That wouldn't even be for me.
It was not for me at all.
Whenever I did like the church camp or whatever, that was just in Fruit Heights, and it was like a 2-day thing, like not overnight or anything. I always insisted on being with the littles because adults or like anyone who can like speak properly are fucking insufferable when it comes to religion.
Yeah, it's like, it was a lot. It was a lot. So honestly, people trying to force God down my throat is what made me know 100% it was not for me.
People forcing God down your throat is how you get a better gag reflex, motherfuckers.
For Satan's dick.
Stop doing it. Yeah. You got to stop conditioning them for their blowies.
I know. So everyone now knows that.
I want to isolate that clip. So we have to do a new promo because we've on our network, people have just been running Freaky Geeks ads for months. I just want to isolate you singing and then layer it.
I was trying not to sing.
But make it like, if you're listening to this, please take Noel's voice singing and layer it, but make it more childlike and then like add music. So it's like,
It's like horrific.
Yeah, like a horror
Yeah,
film.
horror,
and then
yeah.
add like ping, 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 like just very simple
Yeah.
piano music
Oh
behind
my
it.
God, that's a nightmare.
And then at the end of it, it'll be like Chelsea and Noel go to Hell podcast.
It really is going to hell with that.
I'll Venmo you if you do it.
I'll
I
try.
don't know how
I'll,
much.
I'll try to do it. I honestly,
I'll Venmo you $15.
I was trying not to sing it because I obviously can't sing, but I was like, I couldn't remember it if I didn't give a little bit of a tone.
I don't even remember any. I just remember being bothered by it, but like my brain has already put it into repression
You
mode.
should.
I'm gonna get abducted by an alien, and then I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna hold my Lemurian seed crystal, and I'm gonna go into past life regression. And I'm just gonna see your one blonde eyebrow just turn into a mouth and sing that at me.
Oh, welcome to my personal hell. So anyway, speaking of hell, this topic was brought to us by Kelly Holloran, our great sticker and pin designer, fantastic human and overall person. And she was like, "Hey, you guys should talk about biblically accurate angels."
Yeah,
Say that 3 times fast.
biblically accurate angels.
Biblically accurate- I can't. I'll have a fucking
angels,
stroke.
Biblically accurate angels. That's because I got the Holy Ghost in me.
I have the power of God and anime on my side. So let's talk about it. What are angels? An angel is a supernatural being in various religions. Abrahamic religions, which are monotheistic, with the term deriving from the patriarch Abraham, a major figure described in the Tanakh, which is like the Jewish Bible.
It's like just the Old Testament, basically.
The Bible and the Quran, recognized by Jews, Christians, Muslims, and others. The 3 major Abrahamic religions trace their origins to the first 2 sons of Abraham. For Jews and Christians, it's his second son, Isaac, and for Muslims, his elder son, Ishmael. These religions often depict them as benevolent celestial intermediaries between God or heaven and humanity. God, what fun
That
words.
was a mouthful.
Other roles include protectors and guides for humans and servants of God. Abrahamic religions describe angelic hierarchies, which vary by sect and religion. Some angels have specific names, such as Gabriel or Michael, or titles such as seraph or archangel. Angels in art are usually shaped like humans of extraordinary beauty, or I'd like to say basic. They are often identified in Christian artwork with bird wings, halos, and divine light. We also see cherubs as little angel babies.
That was my mom's nickname for me. Little angel baby, isn't that cute?
Really? It's adorable.
What is your favorite, just on that base definition alone? When you think of angel, do you think of little cherub baby, or do you think of like a big badass, like 300 Leonidas dude with wings?
Honestly, when I think of, I think just currently because of the imagery I've been seeing, I see that Renaissance painting of the fallen angel where like his arm is covering his
Yeah.
eye and it's got the one tear.
Uh-huh.
Is that Lucifer? I don't know.
I think it's Lucifer. A
He's-
fallen angel would be Lucifer.
But it's like very cute.
Yeah.
There's a few other fallen ones, I think, besides him. I don't know. We'll have to.
I don't
I'm not
think
ready
there
for
is.
divinity.
I don't think there is.
I think there is. I think a few people was like, let's go.
Well, other angels in the war, the capital W war, I think when they fell, they didn't retain their angelitude. In Supernatural, aka the best movie on television or best show on television. Hold on, let me just. Which is my favorite depiction of angels personally. Like Lucifer was an archangel, which is like a higher tier of angels, and we'll talk about it. But archangels, there's only like 5 or 6 of them, and then the other angels are more like lower tier archangels. They're like the filing clerks.
Yeah. What do you think of when you think of angels?
I think of like the Leonidas dude with wings is like the imagery
Okay.
that I've seen. You know, like Michael. Like if you look at the Michael emblems, there's like this big badass angel with like a spear. I think of that.
Those are very fun. I also think that's kind of Catholic of you.
I do love
Catholic imagery. It is very hardcore.
it is.
It's some of the most hardcore imagery.
I love the depiction of saints too. Like I'm all about it. I like collect those little saint medallions because I think they're so fucking fun.
Mother Teresa was an evil cunt.
No, I don't have a Mother Teresa. I have like a little I have like a Saint Patrick of Assisi, which is like the I think he's the saint of animals, or he's the saint of lost objects. There's 2 Saint Francises. But we all got one when we were really little from my grandparents. So Michael was Jessica's, and that's like what I see because she always had the emblems. Becca's was Saint Francis of Lost Objects because she's a ding dong, and I had Saint Christopher is a saint of travel. But we're not fucking Catholic at all. I think that it was just
It's just fun.
It's fucking fun.
It's way
like
cool.
if you look up some of the stories of the saints, like people are like flayed alive and rolled through salt.
It's very metal. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
Catholic imagery is very metal, so I understand. I understand the want and need for it. It's very cool.
Well, there used to be a monastery up in Huntsville, and I used to go there and like hang out with monks because when my dad got exploded, I was like, I don't know where to go. And I went up there and I hung out, and they gave me honey and peanut butter.
Oh, that's very cool of them.
But they were little sweethearts. I'd go in there in my booty thought shorts, and they were like so down to like hang out with me.
Yeah, they didn't care.
No, they don't give a shit.
I did see an artist rendition of what Mary of Magdalene would actually look like, which is obviously not white, and more like, and because of like where she lived geographically and like what her occupation would have been, she was like in gold bangles and like a red sari, and it was like very fucking
they still
cute.
have her skull somewhere.
Oh, maybe they shouldn't. Not very nice of them. I do also love that though, when saints, they just keep their bodies and put jewels all over the skulls. I think that's very fucking cool.
That's fun. It's like that's fun.
It is fun.
That's like the fun religion stuff that I
Yeah.
could read about all day.
Yeah.
Is like that stuff. I don't like talking to religious people.
No, but
They
I do
aggravate
like
me.
when they decorate with bones.
Yeah.
Some of you may have figured out as to why we're even here. And it's not because we love the way angels look. It's that according to the Bible, that's not how they look at all.
Yeah, we're just fucking dumb. It was like some Renaissance movement,
Yeah,
and then us stealing from the Greeks and Romans.
always. And we'll talk about that. Biblically accurate angels share a likeness with H.P. Lovecraft characters more than a Victoria's Secret model depiction that we see today. The Old Testament, aka the first half of the Bible for Christians or the whole Bible for Jews, where, you know, they get Adam and Eve, David and Goliath, the Tower of Babel, aka what I would refer to as the Brother Grimm fairy tales version of the Bible. That's where this all comes from. The word angel comes from the Greek word, you guys, I'm so sorry, anglos, which comes from the Hebrew word malach, which essentially translates to messenger. These messengers appear in the Old Testament, conveying messages from God or acting on his behalf, because as everyone knows, the Bible's been translated a million times, so this is, you know, the history of the word. Passover just happened, so let's talk about that. In that story, they bring up the angel of death, who killed all the first sons of Egyptians.
That is a fun story. 10 Commandments with what's that guy's name?
What?
He was like he was like the spokesperson of the NRA. Charlton Heston. 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston. Fucking.
You love it?
Oh, that is chef's kiss. It's so cool because they start smearing like the blood on the doors to try to protect everyone, and the angel of death comes through like fucking Nexus from Ferngully.
Yeah.
Just
He
kicking
really
ass
does.
and taking names, but they don't show a person
No.
in that. But in the Bible, it's like basically just
In the Bible, it's a person,
with
yeah.
no wings.
In the Bible, it is a person with no wings. He looked regular.
Yeah. Same. There was like also an angel who killed 70,000 Israelites, and then one who killed 185,000 Syrian soldiers. Also just described as like a dude.
Yeah, just a guy. And even sometimes these guy angels who have no wings, no halos, no divine light, get names like Gabriel, Raphael, and Michael. Mm-hmm. Not to be mixed up with
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, the Ninja Turtles or Renaissance painters.
Yes.
But there is a hierarchy to God's messengers, or as they are called here, the Malach. And reading between the lines says that the guys above, like the people angels, the human angels, are pretty low on the totem pole of importance.
Yeah, they're second highest. I thought they would have been like the
Second
big,
highest, only above animal people, I think.
big little baby cherubs.
Yeah. So it goes, please help me, Satan. Ophaim, Seraphim, Malach, and Cherub.
Yeah, that
right?
sounds right.
Yeah, sounds right.
I'm not going to correct you.
Thank you. Those are 4 different names if you couldn't guess.
Yeah.
That's the order of operations.
Let's start from the bottom up.
You wanted to go bottom up, so you want to start with cherub?
Yeah.
Okay, go. So
Well, those are the cuties.
that's what we would know. We know them as cuties.
Well, yeah, what we imagine them as are the cuties.
The
because
little
they're
babes.
Cupids.
yeah, little cupids.
What they are, when I looked up the pictures of them as they're supposed to be depicted, they look scarier than demons because I also looked up biblically accurate demons,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them was like an owl with like flamingo legs, and it was kind of cute. And I'm like, that's not scary at all. And then you
Yeah.
look at the angels, and you're like, ah! Like, it was
Yeah.
like the one guy with like a like lion growing out of his neck.
Well, yeah, so that's the funny part is like cherubs are more demonic than demonic imagery in the Bible,
Yeah.
period.
It's like a weasel with a snake for
Yeah.
a dick. And
Literally.
it's like, you know,
Literally.
it's like fucking scary.
Literally, they are like hooved. So cherubs in the Bible are animal-human hybrids. They're in the book of Genesis right after Adam and Eve are kicked out of the garden. Their job is to guard the Garden of Eden from humanity. And from the book of Ezekiel, they're described as, quote, "They're of human form. Each had 4 faces. Each had 4 wings. Their legs were straight, and the soles of their feet looked like calves' foot." So like they were hooved.
But it was like a hooved foot.
Yeah,
not
they had
like a hooved hoof,
No, they had like human legs straight down, and then the foot was a hoof.
but like way less cute. Not like a little goat hoof. Not like a satyr.
Scary.
But it was like a foot, and then the bottom of it was like one
Ugh.
elongated hoof.
disgusting.
Oh, it's disgusting.
They sparkled like furnished bronze. Under their wings, on their 4 sides, they had human hands. And they had, what was it? The 4 wings touched one another. Each of them moved straight ahead without turning as they moved. As for their 4 faces, the face of a human being in the front, the face of a lion to the left, the face of an ox to the right, and the face of an eagle on the back. Their wings spread above. Each creature had 2 wings, each of which touched the wing of the other, while 2 covered their bodies. Where their spirit would go, they went, without turning as they went. In the middle of the living creatures, which are cherub, there was something that looked like burning coals in the fire, like torches moving to and fro from the living creatures. The fire was bright, and lightning came from the fire. The living creatures darted to and fro like lightning.
Dude, if one of these things scuttled at me, I would just, you know what I mean? Oh,
Terrifying.
my God. Yeah.
Terrifying. So it's like 4 wings, right?
Yeah.
And the way that Ezekiel is like obsessed with talking about how things move.
Right. Yeah.
And it's because it's unsettling. And so he's trying to tell us that it moves in an unsettling way.
Yeah. It's like 2 wings are for flying, 2 are for hiding the face, and 2 are for hiding like the body.
Not there yet. We're not at those angels yet.
Oh, what?
No, we're not
These are-
there
and-
yet.
So they just fly and they don't move. It's like that hummingbird video where like its wings move in the exact same like
Yeah.
shutter speed as or it's like when you see like helicopters flying and like the aperture matches and so it looks like
Yeah.
the blades aren't moving. They're just like
Yeah. So these cherubs had 4 wings.
Oh,
What
okay,
you're
not
thinking about
6
has
wings.
6.
Yeah, you're
These
right, you're
4 literally were just like 2 up top, 2 at the bottom, just so they could, and they only moved like like the wings would basically go like an X.
Yeah.
They would touch each other. Really creepy.
I don't like it.
Really creepy. And then of course like the goblet of fire inside their stomach, which is weird. And then they just darted, they said. Darted to and fro like lightning.
Yeah.
So it'd be like bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, you'd call it a dart. I'd call it a scuttle.
Yeah.
It's like very unsettling.
Unsettling. So picture a human, but they have calf feet. And then on their head, it's the 4.
And they're little.
Yeah. It's creepy.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. And here we go about stealing cultures. It's important to note here that these visualizations of angels are very close in resemblance to the mythical creatures from Mesopotamia, specifically the Babylonian Emso, I don't know, which had the wings of an eagle, the body of a lion, and the head of a king. They were created to guard sacred places, so it seems it's a very much you can copy my homework, but change a few
Make it
answers.
different.
Yeah,
And they're like, we'll make it worse.
we'll make it even more terrifying. And this might be pretty familiar to their Egyptian cousin, the Sphinx, or even the Griffin. Scholars think the baby angel cherub came from, once again, stealing visuals from the Greeks with Cupid.
Well, because I don't know if we had the artistic ability to draw something so fucking creepy at the time. And they're like,
If they were trying to sell Christianity, the flying demon isn't it,
Yeah, they had to water it down and make it more cute. So
Yeah.
then you get the little baby.
Oh yeah. Well, I bet people looked at people not of the area saw a Sphinx and were like, whoa,
Yeah.
not that guy. And then they were like, shit, we gotta dial this. We got that shit, but worse in our fucking
All they had
book.
to do Kroger brand.
Yeah, they had to dial it back. So next is technically next would be the Moloch
Which are
human
the
angels,
human angels,
which
yeah.
we've already covered basically.
Those
So
are-
let's go Seraphim. Seraphim.
These are the ones with 6 wings. My bad.
Yeah, catch up.
I'm trying.
Seraphim. They are described in the book of Isaiah as, quote-ish, each had 6 wings, 2 that covered their faces, and with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. And one called to the other and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts, and the whole earth is full of his glory.
I read one thing that said that's literally all they
literally all they say.
Literally all they do.
That's all-
They are
that's
the
it.
choir of God.
Yeah.
And they surround his throne and they say that on repeat from now until eternity.
How the fuck does anyone want to go to heaven if that's what's playing 24/7?
Maybe
That's
it
not a
slaps.
good pitch. No, it's
Maybe it
not.
slaps.
I'm telling you right now, it doesn't. Holy, holy, holy all day. No.
I mean, I'm sure they're not singing it in English. Open your mind.
No. All I'm saying, if they're trying to pitch heaven, that's not how you do it.
Maybe we can't even hear it with our fucking
God, I hope not.
club ears.
I hope we can't.
These ones are the ones where it just looks like an egg of wings almost.
Yeah. It's like these visually just look like wings, 6 wings, 3 on each side, and then a weird little face in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, really. It says that they can cover their feet, but like, where? You can't really like see it. They don't really have
Yeah.
like a body.
It's like the 2 wings on top are like it's like an ice cream cone of wings, but the ice cream cone, you take one and then you flip it and then you put the other. So it's like a tube of ice cream cone. That's almost what it looks like.
Yeah, it's unsettling. It's another like, it looks like some demonic creature with a human face in the middle, and they go, there he is, your guy.
And the human face is just like, sup. With
Yeah.
1,000 teeth.
Essentially. So, in medieval Christian theology, the seraphim is the highest of the angelic hierarchy. They are the caretakers of God's throne. And again, like Chelsea said, all they do is fucking sing, holy, 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 all day long. They don't fucking stop. That's all they do. That's it.
Yeah.
They just do that. The word seraphim comes from seraph, to burn, or used as the burning ones. The Hebrew word for a venomous snake is seraph, and the cobra was often referred to as the flaming one in ancient Egypt.
Hey.
Hey, queen. The image of a winged cobra was worn by pharaohs on their headpieces. And all of these facts could lead you to believe that seraph may have been the Hebrew term for cobra, and that specific ancient Egyptian imagery could be where the seraphim got their name from. So again,
Just borrowing.
copy.
Well, they're their neighbors, you know? You gotta like get a little sugar now and then.
Yeah. And now for the most heavy metal of all biblical angels, the biblical angels you've probably seen people talk about in memes and shit, which is the Ophium,
Or
Ophaim, probably.
Ophaim.
The Ophaim, or as they're known, the wheels.
The wheels. These are dope.
These
They
are
look like the cover of a Tool album.
They do look like a cover of a Tool album, and I will talk about what I think is the real, and then I know you're going to talk about the other real. The real. So they are a pair of interlocking gold wheels with eyes around the outside. They hover and float in the sky. In the same vision from above where Ezekiel was describing the cherub, he says this: as I looked, the living creatures, again, cherub, I don't know why he keeps saying living fucking creatures, I saw a wheel on the earth beside the living creatures, one for each of the 4 of them. As for the appearance of the wheels and the construction, their appearance was like the gleaming. I don't know what he means. The 4 had the same form, their construction being something like a wheel within a wheel. When they moved in any of the 4 directions without veering as they moved. The rims of all 4 were full of eyes all around them. When the living creatures moved, the wheels moved beside them. And when the living creatures rose from the earth, the wheels rose as well. Where the spirit would go, they went, and the wheels rose along with them. The spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. The wheels are beings who are meant to carry God's throne. So here they would show like the wheels essentially like oscillating, like just hovering, and then the fucking creepy cherubs, which are the human hybrid demons, in the middle of them. Floating around.
Chilling out.
Just floating the fuck around. And conspiracy theorists like to point out that this is
evidence for UFOs in the Bible, baby.
You better believe it.
You're going to tell me that an interlocking wheel that rotates around a light source and can move any direction, any which way, and it flies around.
And it zaps.
It zippity zaps.
Mm-hmm. Oscillating.
Isn't it a fucking UFO? I'm not saying it can't be an angel, but it can also be a fucking UFO, baby.
I mean, here's
potato, maybe.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
And this is like this is talked about a lot, like Chariot of the Gods, which is a really cool book. Is like, yeah, this is why we had technological advancements, because these aliens were coming to Earth and influencing humans and giving us cultural, and technologically advanced ideas.
Yeah. Here's the entire first season of Ancient Aliens.
Yeah.
Jesus is real and he's an alien. Angels were real and they were aliens.
Yeah. And if I were describing a flying saucer to you, and I'm like, okay, so you have the light in the middle, and then it like rotates around. Fucking flying saucer.
Yeah.
And this gets really culty too, because some places believe it's like a cult of technology almost, where they believe that worshiping technology and revering that above all else is going to be the highest tier of human evolution, because we've already seen it, and the technology of aliens created an entire species, which is us.
Yeah.
So if we want to become God, we have to pursue technology.
I kind of sell what they're buying.
Yeah, the cult.
I mean, I'm buying what they're selling.
It's fine. How does capitalism work?
Right. I kind of get behind that. But I also will say some people, like myself, just believe that Ezekiel's entire prophecy was from one giant fucking trip. And as someone who has dabbled in hallucinogens, I will tell you, there's a fucking special shed that every time I'm not sober and on special stuff, I take a walk by this shed, because it's this dilapidated shed that's kind of leaning, and it's got like 17 different shades, like the paint is peeling off of it and moss is growing out of it. And all it does to me when I'm on Mars, it looks like a million eyeballs. Like it looks like the cover of a Tool album. Yeah. Like it is insane. Like, and because of like the different textures on the fucking dilapidated shed and the different colors, like it's kind of cool looking when you're sober. You're on a hallucinogen. It will melt your fucking mind. And when fun. I looked at a picture of the Ophaim, that looks like when you're on acid and you see something weird and your brain just is like, oh, it's all a bunch of little eyes, oscillating wheels.
Yeah. Well, and the human brain is hardwired to see faces. We see faces in fucking everything, and that's how we function.
There's an entire... I was just talking to my friend about this when we were getting a drink the other day. She was like, the only thing I took away from like my psychology class or whatever was like, there's an entire portion of your brain that's dedicated to recognizing faces.
Yeah.
That's why you see faces and everything. If you stare at a textured wall long enough, you'll start to see faces.
Yeah. So so did Ezekiel just do like what, DHT? And then
And maybe he ate a little
see-
magic mushroom.
Yeah, because from what I've understood of mind-altering substances, is a lot of people see the same things.
Yeah.
Very similar things. So it's like, is this all it fucking
Yeah.
was? Ezekiel was on some crazy fever dream.
I kind of do feel that way. And also I'm totally going off the book right now, but I know that there's like the whole burning bush thing, right?
Yeah.
It was like the burning bush, and then he had a prophecy or whatever, or a vision, whatever.
Yep.
And people are like, if that bush was this specific type of plant and it was burning, he had been fucked up.
Yeah.
And of course he would see these things.
Again, Charlton Heston's 10 Commandments talks to the burning bush.
So I'm just like, well, and it's weird because I think they're kind of like unrelated. And this is the only time the Ophaim are talked about. Everything
Yeah.
else kind of appears, but like this is the only time is like Ezekiel's trip, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah, and they're supposedly like the highest tier of angels because they literally are the foundation of God's throne, and that's like as high as you get. And what these are a little less intimidating to me than the cherubs,
Really?
but I don't know if a holiness of like a rotating eye circle would get me.
I
The
mean,
eyeballs are unsettling.
the entire rim of both wheels being covered in eyeballs is a little much for me.
Yeah.
That's a little much. For whatever reason, I'm not as bothered by the cherub because I think there's something kind of fun about like that creepy human animal hybrid. I think I'm more creeped out by the seraphim because that's just like the floating face and the wings.
Yeah.
That's weird to me.
Well, we don't really know what's underneath it, so it's like the element of
Right.
the unknown.
Right.
And all they do is sing all day, which is also unsettling. Like,
All they say is holy, holy, holy.
yeah, the cherubs have a job of guarding the Garden of Eden, and then the wheels have the job of
Terrifying everyone.
being like the throne of God, and then the Malach are like the humanoid ones, like the messengers.
Yeah, the people who
least
come down,
intimidating
yeah.
ones to come down and talk to people.
Secretaries.
Yeah, and then these things that sing, and I'm like, what's under there?
the seraphim that
It's a
are
guy in a
fucking
suit.
creepy.
Is it just a broom and an old coat?
It's
don't know
just
what it
3
is.
toddlers stacked on top of each other
Yeah.
wearing a trench coat.
Yeah,
Either way, I don't want to see it.
yeah. It's like, but I kind of want to see it.
I don't, honestly. But I do love that because I think angels as they're depicted in Christian art, current day, and even like I would say last 200 years,
Babies are babes.
little cute babies.
Yeah, their babies are
with the
babes.
bow and arrows, beautiful angels. And I just think that is classic Christianity, right?
Yeah.
They're like, this is what actually it is terrifying. So
Right.
we're going to erase it. It's cherry picking religion.
It is.
That is what Christianity does so fucking well. They just cherry pick what they want to do. They're like, the gays are going to rot in hell, but I'm going to eat crustaceans, even though those are the same,
Yep.
bads.
Yeah, or it's like cherry picking from the Bible, or they take Bible stories and then they convolute them for their own personal
Yeah.
gain.
Some things they'll take literally, some things they'll take metaphorically.
You know what I want? I want a wheel bangle with like all the eyeballs on it.
That actually is great. That's
and
a
then they'd
great
be
idea.
like, what is that? And I'm like, it's the highest angel of heaven, baby.
Yeah.
I'm a Christ warrior. And they'd be like, are you sure?
Yeah.
I'd be like, read a book. Read the book.
The book. Well, that's the problem. They don't.
Or they read like shitty translations of it. And I'm
Yeah.
a fucking hypocrite because I have not read the Bible, the whole Bible.
I really don't think you're missing out.
But I
What-
read the fun stuff, and I went to church for nearly 20 years.
Yeah, but they cherry pick too because no one's talking about that other shit. No one's talking about Lot getting raped by his daughters.
I will say, actually, we did talk about it.
Did you really talk about it though?
Yes, because my
Did you really talk about the
I-
circumcision thing and like pretending to kill his son just so
I yes,
God
I
can show
was
up and be like, lol, JK, LO,
I was very,
LMFAO."
very, 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 very hashtag blessed with a non-sugar coating pastor who could read the original Greek. So, and I was also in a church where if I wore booty shorts and a tank top to church, that was fine, because if I dressed up for church and then I, was a thought in my regular life, that was worse because it was lying coming in. It was like, no, come as you are.
Well, Jesus' best friend was a whore. What are we doing? Come on.
Dude, he loved her. And what we learned about Lot in Sodom and Gomorrah is that it wasn't about gay people. It was about being discourteous to like your fellow man, because when the two messengers come, Lot didn't know they were angels, but like all of his neighbors were very discourteous to them. And it's like, you can't treat people like shit just because you don't know them. And then to appease the crowd that was going to come and kill the angels, it was very on brand at the time to give up your daughters, because we weren't worth very much then. So he was trying to like appease the crowd to protect these messengers. And then God was like, you know what? These people reject Christian values of loving thy neighbor. It had nothing to do with gayness.
It never did, never was.
And it's like, and so it's very funny that they use that to be like hypocritical against gay people, but really what they're doing is being discourteous to their neighbor. Like, you're getting turned into a pillar of salt, motherfuckers.
We can only hope.
And I'll use you to season my cheese fries.
There you go. And I mean, there's so much heavy metal dark shit about the Bible and its stories, which is why I love the conspiracy theory that God's actually the bad guy. Because sometimes it does check out a little bit. You were really going to make that dude kind of kill his son just so you could show up last minute and be like, psych.
Peace.
I'm here to teach you a lesson, Job.
I like the conspiracy that's like a dinosaur's in the Bible. They're like, behold behemoth, like his girth is like mightier than his loins or something. And people are like, it's a hippo. What if it isn't?
What if it's a dinosaur?
What if it's a damn dinosaur?
I do like that.
You think a hippo's going to be right there in the middle of the damn desert? You out of your fucking mind. You know what it might be?
A dinosaur?
A giant ass lizard.
That's true. That is very true.
So
yeah, I think it's time that this time next week we come
favorite Bible conspiracies?
Our favorite Bible conspiracies.
You gotta find a good one. And it can't be Ezekiel's UFOs.
Can't be Ezekiel's UFOs, or that he was just on acid the whole time. Yeah. Can't be that.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
It's gonna be a fun episode.
I think so.
We have to like kind of touch base to make sure we don't do the same one. Well, you're gonna do the God is really the bad guy conspiracy.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that. God's the bad guy.
All right.
Probably.
I'll find a fun one.
But it sounds good. Dinosaurs in the Bible. I like that.
Dinosaurs in the Bible is fun. But that's basically the whole thing.
Yeah, there are so many, honestly. Life's your oyster. Is that the saying? Some people like the oysters.
I don't fuck with oysters because I'm a God-fearing Christian.
Is it clam? Maybe as a pearl? Oyster. Who knows? Oysters, I don't know.
Give pearls.
I don't know colloquialisms.
Is it clam?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
You're asking a vegan.
Shellfish. So.
Anyway, most importantly, above all, hail Satan.
Hail the wheels.